Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and today we are going to be talking WWE 2K24 and how excited everybody is for the Pat McAfee Pack. Wait a minute, let's go to Pat McAfee's Twitter. Breaking news earlier today, ladies and gentlemen. What does this mean for this week? Because apparently the Pat McAfee Pack is not coming out this week per Pat McAfee himself, the Pat McAfee Twitter feed. So let's take a look at this here. I got the tweet right here. Some of these bum-ass IWC folks are calling this the worst DLC of all time. That's rude. Very rude. July 24th is not the drop date. Now this is interesting to me because obviously, a lot of fans were not looking forward to this pack because it comes with people who are not wrestlers, and a lot of people said, well, why doesn't this pack include some NXT talent that aren't in the game? Why not include more legends? Some people say, hey, the retro, what about the My Faction stuff where instead of them being Persona cards, you could have put them in a pack? Yeah. So, obviously Pat McAfee is not taking it too well that the gaming community is not happy with non-wrestlers being in a WWE game. Now listen, I get it. Plenty of wrestlers came from football. They started in football. Goldberg, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, he dabbled into football. He didn't make the Minnesota Vikings roster, but he was at their training camp. You go back and you look, Brian Pillman, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You look at the history of wrestlers who played football, and yeah, it's a perfect crossover pack, absolutely. Because of that, and don't forget our real tribal chief, Roman Reigns, played at Georgia Tech. So, it's not like we haven't had football players in a game before, because, technicality, if every game that included Stone Cold Steve Austin meant that we had a football player in the game because Stone Cold Steve Austin used to play football. But obviously, this goes beyond, say, AJ Hawk, Darius Butler, because in this pack we also we're supposed to have gotten this week his co-host, Boston Connor, Ty Smith. Yeah, look, a lot of people I think were excited for Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee has actually wrestled. He wrestled at WrestleMania. He's wrestled in NXT, and a lot of people for the last couple years have been wanting Pat McAfee in the 2K games, and be it for whatever reason, they couldn't come to an agreement. And there's been rumors this year that Pat McAfee was saying that if he wasn't going to be in the game if his friends, his co-hosts couldn't be in the game. Then Pat McAfee himself said that if they weren't in the game, then that means, that was it. They were not that, they didn't take anyone's spot, so to speak. Because when this was announced, so many people were like, hey, what about actual wrestlers? And Pat McAfee actually said that, hey, they didn't take any spots. We would have actually gotten less roster members if it wasn't for this pack. And if they weren't included, they didn't take any spots. At least that's according to what Pat McAfee said on Raw. Is that they did not take any roster spots away from people. This was planned. Alright, so let's go to the 2K website. So, this has been the same website that we've seen for months. Ever since the game's release, you can see you got DDP, you got Kairi Sane, the Dudleys, Post Malone, CM Punk, Carlito, Pat McAfee, Lex Luger, Jade Cargill, and Mr. Perfect. So, let's look at this here. Season Pass is back. Blah, blah, blah. So we've gotten the ECW Punk pack. We've gotten the Post Malone and Friends pack. Right here. DLC number 3. Pat McAfee Show Pack. July 24th. It still says July 24th. I'm recording this on July 22nd in the afternoon about 4 o'clock. So, as of 4 o'clock Monday, it still says July 24th on 2K's own website. So, I'm curious here, because you see here, after the Pat McAfee Show Pack on the 24th, the next pack is not until September 18th, which is the Global Superstars Pack, which is the pack that actually gives us current superstars that would be more relevant for this, say, July 24th than September 18th, because Jade Cargill, she's already been a women's tag team champion. Nia Jax, Queen of the Ring. She's facing Bayley at SummerSlam for the women's championship. Michelle McCool, great, another legend, another female legend, absolutely great. Carlito, prominently featured in the Judgment Day storyline. Kairi Sane, we go back to Damage Control. She was heavily featured. She was also a women's tag team champion with Asuka on the road to WrestleMania with the big storyline with Bayley and the Damage Control split. Lyra Valkyria, NXT Women's Champion. She made it to the finals of the King and Queen of the Ring. Of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Then you had Dragon Lee in there, which, at this point, it would not surprise. I think he's injured, but I would not be surprised if he ends up getting released at some point. Just because it seems like WWE really hasn't figured out what to do with Dragon Lee outside of him being in the whole LWO storyline. And then you got DLC 5, which is the WCW pack, which is set for release in November. You got DDP, Iron Sheik, Mr. Perfect. In which, look, I get it. If you have, I get it, it's the WCW pack, but we're getting Mr. Perfect. Am I the only one who would have loved to have a WCW Kurt Hennig, but like the West Texas Rednecks, complete with the Rap is Crap theme? Am I the only one? Am I? Comment below. Mr. Perfect in the WCW pack. Would you have preferred the West Texas Redneck version of Kurt Hennig? Then you got Great Muta and then Lex Luger, which Lex Luger are we getting? Is this WCW Lex Luger? Is this Made in America WWF Lex Luger? And so again, if the Pat McAfee pack is indeed not coming out, then, could one of these two packs here, the Global Superstars pack or the WCW pack, be moved up? Because, again, it does seem weird that 2K has not had posted any screenshots, any entrances of the upcoming DLC when they have done that with the previous DLC content. And, again, even if that was the case where they did move the DLC up, again, we would have seen entrances or ratings for, say, if it was the Global Superstars pack. We would have seen ratings for Jade Cargill, Nia Jax, Carlito, Kairi Sane. So, are we not getting a pack this week? It does seem kind of weird that 2K would keep us in the dark like this. It seems weird that Pat McAfee himself would know a lot more than 2K at this point. So, yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. Could we be getting a big surprise this week where maybe it is the Global Superstars pack? Maybe we get the WCW pack. Could we get some surprise roster additions, some free superstars. Perhaps Brock Lesnar, whose music is now in the game, even though he was taken out because of the circumstances revolving around Vince McMahon. But the point is that could we get maybe Brock Lesnar get released? Maybe he's added back into the base game, which again, a lot of people are fantasy booking that Brock Lesnar could return with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. That Brock Lesnar could be a part of the team that goes against the bad bloodline, or at least what I call Bloodline Wolfpack. But even if 2K were to add Brock Lesnar back into the game, I don't think WWE, and let's say Brock Lesnar is planned to come back for this new storyline where we do get Brock Lesnar coming back to defend the honor of Paul Heyman alongside Roman Reigns. Would WWE want 2K to add Brock to the game before he makes his big comeback? Because then that would kind of spoil the fact that Brock is coming back, and I think WWE would want to keep that a surprise. So, yeah, I mean, are we going to get new superstars, some bonus superstars, some free ones? Yeah, comment below. What do you guys think of this? I mean, are we getting the Pat McAfee Show Pack this week, or is it going to be the Global Superstars Pack, the WCW Pack, maybe a surprise, some surprises? Who knows? Comment below, and I'll be back later this week with more wrestling content here at Ringside Cinema.
Ringside Cinema, living out the dream. Lights down, time to go. Cheers for heroes we know. Ringside forever bold. Wrestling never gets old.